Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Patowski and John Steiner.
Now, how does he know?
Taped live in front of a studio audience.
How does he know that, though? He can see where.
You know, he's got X-ray vision.
Colorado kid.
Yeah, we are live in front of a live studio audience of zero.
A cast of thousands.
yeah, cast of zero.
Well, we have had visitors.
Yeah, we sure have, and it's been interesting at times. What's new, Kaz?
Nothing much. How about you?
I saw you at the Erie Club picnic the other day.
Yeah, we took the grandkids out. It's a dual mission. We took grandkids out there. They were in town, yeah. They love the Waldemar.
Oh, the Waldemar?
Yeah. And they love Sarah's.
Everybody loves Sarah's and Waldemar. I'll tell you, I haven't been actively in Waldemar for quite a while, but
It's changing.
no doubt. I tell you, they put a lot of money into that place, and Waterworld, and that's the kind of places. Those are the kind of places we need to bring the families in.
Well, yeah, it was a nice. We spent the better part of the night there.
Yeah.
Of course, we hit Sarah's. We hit the peninsula. It was
Did you get on the Ravine Flyer?
peninsula. I won't do that one.
I remember as a kid, I was never meant for. I used to get motion sickness. 2 rides almost put me under.
Which one's that?
The spider, remember, the
Yeah.
spider that spins around. Not only does the thing move around, but the cart spins you around. Why, that almost.
We used to have the flying something. I can't remember what they called it.
It's like swings, kind of.
What they were where the spider was. They had wings on them that you could, change your direction a little bit. But they spun out like.
Do they still have the duck jump or whatever they call it, where you go and you go over the thing, and it's right by the spider. I doubt they have that one. It was kind of
Duck thing.
I think it was called duck jump or something like that.
They got a couple of different things. They used to have this spaceship we used to go way up in the air. And now they got all these. The only thing about that roller coaster,
Yeah.
everybody I know it's gone under. It's worth its weight in gold.
What about
But you get shook around pretty good.
what about the Tilt-A-Whirl? They still have that there?
Which one?
Where you sit there like coffee cups. You
Yeah.
sit in the cups and well, that almost took me out too. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, Kaz.
Yeah.
Hey, I go down to the public dock every once in a while. Where the tower is,
Right. I was just down there this week too. So.
and I like to go down there, talk to different people and people from other countries and get to know them. And I asked them. I says, "What do you think of our city of Erie and our dock and the tower?" He says, "Well, one thing, it's just too dark down here
At night, you mean, or daytime?
at nighttime."
I mean, I don't mean to be funny during the daytime too, but, I was down there a little bit at night, but, I think you're probably right, and I think that's why the Port Authority wants to liven it up a little bit down there. But they said it was dark, right?
Yeah, they says, it's nice for the sunset, but, it's just so dark all the way from Hammett all the way down, to the dock area.
Well, that's that new, group of, I'm not against them, but the new thinking is, they're trying to keep light pollution down, but at the same time, light is important to not only stop crime,
To see things.
but to prevent accidents. I mean, when you get our age, and some people don't see real well.
Light is important to see things.
Yes, and also for security.
Yeah. Well, a lot of what's going on now is down at the rum runners and stuff, because of the bars that are out there. You can't park out there. They have people out there stopping you, saying you can't park out there anymore. So you
Why?
have people walking. It is dark. That's a very good assessment.
Is that why they won't let you park? Or
You can't. They won't let you park. There's nowhere to park back there. So they're stopping cars.
you mean it's all taken? Are
Yeah.
you still there, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. My son went down there. He lived here, back when he was in high school. He and two of his friends got together. They were both back in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, parking was an issue.
Yeah,
And he said that to me. He went down to he and his friend went down to that floating bar Woody's. Then they were gonna go somewhere else, he said, but they closed up early too.
Yeah, they say the bayfront is really nice at night, you know, for the sunset. He says, but, you know, even like the bayfront, if they had some kind of barges, if they had some kind of colored lights or something like that, different lights flashing and a reflection on the bay or something.
Well, I'm gonna bring it up with Brenda, cause if they're serious about people walking over from the hotels and having, you know, expanding the boardwalk, I think you need light on there for people to feel safe, you know.
we need places for boats to park, you know, just not ships, but boats.
No, I think that's coming. I think, you know, all that stuff is being studied.
But they need, some type of, parking.
Did they say, well, that's always been an issue, and I think part of that might be solved with, Nick Scott.
Okay.
But
The
then
ramp.
again, you know, that's gonna be on his dime, and I think he may need like help. Cause the only thing you got down there is that parking ramp at the Sheraton.
Right.
Did they say anything else, sir?
Yeah, why don't the Port Authority and City Council and County Council get together? It just seems like everybody wants to have their own say. The city does that, and the county does that, and nobody wants to have anything to do with it. And that's why I think the city won't grow, and that's why so many people were complaining about Erie, because another thing that they says, they can't believe how many bars that are in Erie. They says even when they watch TV,
Yeah.
they advertise for a new beer distillery open, and you know, with these block parties, so they says what Erie just wants a drink, and they says people from out of town, you know, they want to have things to do and entertain their kids and entertain their family, something to do. But
Well, I think you're right, and I think, one of the good things I heard was that the Children's Museum wants to stay downtown. Of course, they haven't told anybody where they're moving, but they've outlived their life where they are. And that's a nice thing to do. But you know, we went down and we took the Skellywag, that boat down there. We went out for a little cruise with the kids, and that's kind of, well, it can be adult too, but it was kid orientated. But he's absolutely right. I think that's why I think when Brenda was talking about, you know, the Port Authority was talking about putting like a Ferris wheel and some other things to do down there. And I think the out of towners would appreciate like ice cream stands, and I heard that was needed. More food venues rather than, you can have drink and food.
yeah, but when you get a reputation for a beer city,
Yeah, you do it, and you know, that's one of the things, you're right. And I think that's what a large part of our downtown is getting to be known as, is Party City. You know, when they shut down Roar to Shore, everybody was mad at the mayor about how much it was gonna cost the downtown. The problem was nobody asked the other merchants who, like you point out, aren't in the business of selling beer. Like some of the restaurants that are more food, you know, they don't open up at night, you know, for drinking as much. And what are they gonna do when we have these events?
yeah, just one last thing. I'm 75 years old, and I don't know if I'm wrong, but I'm not really talking about the elderly. But I think Erie made a real bad mistake when they start putting the city mission downtown. They got all the high rises downtown.
Yeah.
Got all the homeless people downtown. They got all the mental health places downtown. These people from out of town, they don't want to see that.
And I think what I think, and I'm probably in the minority, I think it's cruel when you warehouse everybody in one area
Yeah.
and then say, well, you did it because all the things were, no, when you did that, all the places came down, all the social agencies. In most towns, they try to parcel out the people so that they get to sample a little bit of the whole city. You know, they're not just warehoused downtown. they're out by the mall, they're out by the other plazas, they're out by the peninsula, they're out by, but in Erie, we warehoused them, and then, you know, that's its own problem when you go to develop the city.
Yeah, I mean,
And what are you gonna do with them? That's why I think Erie will never change.
well, that's why we have with the tax exempts, that's part of the problem. And, you know, and like, you know, you had mentioned yourself, a lot of these folks, they're low income, and we just do not look good to incoming businesses.
I mean, you go to any major city, you don't see all the, you know, I don't like to call them poor people.
Right.
But all the people that are disadvantaged
Yeah,
in some way, you don't see them warehoused in the center city.
no, I mean, you need, he's right, I mean, we've talked about it, you know, you need people with disposable income
Right.
living in the downtown area.
And see, the people that live in those nice areas, they don't want these people
Right,
out there, you know. They wanna hide them downtown,
yeah, and then complain about having to pay taxes for them.
yeah. But no, I think you're right, sir, and I think you hit on the head.
Yeah.
If we wanna develop downtown and what we think it can be, and that's part of what's happening now, but it's meeting a lot of resistance. If you're a businessman and you invest money like, I'll put it, somebody like a Junior's, you know, your business depends on people coming downtown and being comfortable.
Well, what you want is your downtown is your business district. That's where you want, you know, the 25 to 45-year-olds living downtown, making money.
Well, not only that, if we're gonna
Spending
open up
money.
the Avalon again,
Yeah.
and those people go out at night, they're gonna wanna walk around downtown with a semblance of,
Yeah.
Yeah, and if kids, you know, if kids see the elderly, I don't know about you when you were little,
yeah,
like myself, I used to see an old person. Sometime I was afraid of them or to get away from it. And there's so many old people down there. Like I said, I'm 75.
yeah.
Probably kids afraid of me, you know.
Yeah, they shouldn't be, because we're just trying to have a, you know, yeah, you know, things have gotta change. I mean, I was in New Orleans about a month and a half ago, and I walked downtown as bad as they say that town is. You know, I didn't feel that bad there, you know, there was things to do, it was well lit.
One of the things also is that all the baby boomers are senior citizens now.
Yeah,
So we have a lot more senior citizens that need,
and we're still listening to Led Zeppelin, and
yeah.
I don't know who you listen to, but,
But, you know, we have a housing shortage for seniors. Well, I think some of the, like, Lecom and these other, they're starting to get with the program. as
but I
far
think a
as
lot
that.
of people would love to live
But they're
downtown,
expensive.
overlooking the water.
I mean, they would like to, but here's the thing, when we're talking new businesses, and you're talking grocery stores, you have to have a combination of things, you know?
And I think that's one of the things that, when they said about the bus station, they're looking at putting a grocery store in there. They're looking at the GF site to put a farmer's market,
Yeah, but you gotta have people with money that live around there.
and I think that's all part of the plan, you know.
Yeah,
Nobody has a vision for that place, you know. You gotta, you know, build things down there and have lights and like entertainment, you know, even like that Ferris wheel or.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that up there because, my son gave me some ideas, and when I was on the Scallywag, that pirate boat, I was talking to people. I was even talking to the kid that was a captain, you know, and he was telling me things he sees, and you know what, he said the same thing you did. You know, about being a little dark and
yeah.
that, you know, then you got elements of crime that take over.
You know, that shop is underneath the tower. They sell like cookies and hot dogs and all kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah,
And they're open till like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
well, they're gonna remarket that, they said, they're gonna make it so it looks like it's open on the outside.
Oh, really?
You're gonna put outdoor seating.
Yeah.
I think that's nice. See, there's a lot of plans, and, I would tell you, sir, you know, call, Brenda Sandberg at the Port Authority. Unfortunately, the Port Authority has a lot to say down there, but they gotta get council approval.
You know,
But-
like you said, everybody's got to start working together.
Yeah, they do, and, you know, if you call her and tell her some of your, I'll tell her what people tell me, and you tell her, and, you know, let her know, and I think they'll have a good idea where they should go from there.
I think throughout history, there has been a lack of teamwork amongst the, like you had mentioned, sir, between levels of government and the authorities, but I do think within the last
It's changed a little bit.
few years that there is more teamwork and more effort to work together to get things done to move the community forward, but.
Yeah, one last thing, Cass.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, like I said, I'm 75 years old, and I know you're older or something like that.
I'm 70, that's,
Okay, but election day,
right.
majority of the people who votes.
I've looked over the years, it's mostly
Elderly.
elderly or people that are, let's say, I don't know, what would you say, 40 to 50. But yeah, the young people don't seem to vote as much.
Okay, county council and city council, and there's mostly the elderly, right?
On those things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, like I said, nothing against the elderly, but I think we got to get some young blood in here.
Well, I think one of the problems they got, and I noticed at the last election,
Yeah,
they need to become part of the process.
yeah,
They need to get involved, and some of them are, but they don't need to make old people look like they're adversarial,
yeah.
Which is what's happening.
which is what's happening. They think that, much like we did, that we have all the answers, when you really, you know, if you learn to work with, you learn to work with the people of all different ages, pay your dues, come through the system,
Yeah.
and I think, you know, people would be willing to look forward. That's what killed a lot of the clubs in Erie, the societies and stuff, was a failure to let young people become involved. But at the same time, they can't be putting up stuff like, we're right, you're wrong, old people are no good, get the heck out, you
It's
know.
become adversarial.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that way.
Instead of working together. I mean, a lot of the young people, they do have good points, they do have good views, but the way they want to go, in my opinion, the way they want to go about things, it's a smash mouth approach, and
Well, they need to know how government works and how you change things.
they don't understand that yet, but they'll learn. But it's good to see a lot more young people getting involved in things, which I've also noticed, which is a great thing.
I lived in Erie all my life. I think Erie is too much of a divided city.
Yes, I think you're right. Now, it shows much more than a lot of towns.
And
You-
when you talk to people, they say, oh, at nighttime, don't go on the east side.
Yeah,
On the west side, don't go on the lower west side. And
Yeah.
they always talk about Glenwood Hills and all this other stuff.
and then you have the battle between the suburban area, the suburbs, and the city.
Well, people,
You know, we like coming in here, but we don't want to stay at night, you know.
just, that's when all you hear on the news is shooting on the east side.
Yeah.
Shooting on the east side, shooting on the east side,
Well, don't be surprised if that, you know,
and the lower west side.
before you go, I used to work the parking authority, and they'd come up to me, people, and they go, is this the downtown? And I go, yeah, and they'd be going to a concert, like, am I safe down here? And I go, yeah, you
Yeah,
know,
right.
but, you know, the way the TV made it sound was like, you know, if you were out after 9 o'clock, watch out, you know.
Right.
And just like with you, Kaz, I listen to your show and watch your show.
Right?
Times you talk about the Mercyhurst kids and all the couches,
Yeah,
38th Street. What gets done?
nothing.
That's all I have to say. Have a good day.
Thanks. He ended on that note.
You know what? We gotta get that guy on the air.
That was one of the better calls we've had in a
Yeah,
long time.
if you're listening, you can come on the show anytime you want. We'll put
Yeah.
you on here.
That guy's smart.
You got it?
Yeah, we'll do it. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, hi. I'm calling about, what's the city doing about residential blight?
What are we doing? We're doing a lot of things. If you read, we've, there's a lot of little stuff going on. There's the land bank, which is just really starting to get rolling.
Yeah, there's 3 separate land banks, there's revolving loans,
Revolving loan fund that's been set up. There's,
you have the
right now they're doing an inventory of all the neighborhoods. In fact, we just got an update about, two large neighborhoods on the lower west, lower east side. Now they're doing the, Academy Marvintown area.
Are they?
And then they're gonna move, you know, over east and then come
Right.
back up.
There's two properties on the southeast side of the city of Erie that this is a classic blight.
Where are they located about?
One is 4115 Tuttle,
Okay.
is 1316 East 41 Street.
What was that last one?
The 1316 East 41 Street.
Oh, okay.
And this is the southeast side of town, and
Right.
I don't know what the city is doing about blight, but
Well, right now they're concentrating on what they call the really blighted areas, but they intend to,
very blight.
yes, well, they're gonna inventory the whole city. Right now, like where you were talking about, the blight is not at its worst, but I'm sure I will turn these two in, but I'm sure they're already on some minor list, because they have a rough list they did before, but now what they're doing, they're going door to door and actually taking an inventory and seeing how bad a situation they got, and they were kind of shocked with what they found out so far.
Oh, you'd be shocked on the two properties I just named.
Oh, I wouldn't be, sir, I could believe it, because I drive up in those areas, and there are a couple, I may not have seen these two, but I will drive by them because they're in my neighborhood.
Okay, is the city gonna do something about this? Because it's making the nice houses look like junk.
Well, what has to happen is what I would do for you, and I'll try to get a report, to see whether, number one, they were turned in, if there's been any action done on them,
You mean,
actual action, like,
code enforcement?
yeah, well, when they get noted that they're in blight, there's a process you have to go through.
Yeah,
I would check with my representative on, John,
okay.
on the blighted review board.
Oh, okay.
You know John,
Yeah,
and I'll ask him if they,
that's on the list.
yeah, I ask him if he can find out what's going on with this,
Yeah.
and then I'll try to have a report for you, okay?
Is the city gonna do something about these? Cause it's pretty
Oh,
bad. It's making the
yeah.
nice houses look like chunky.
Well, eventually, that's their goal, is to, the land bank, in combination with redevelopment and other agencies, their hope is that they can buy some of these properties if they're not bought by other people.
Because on 1316 East 41, I mean, it's disgusting.
I'll find out what's being done with them, but if, somebody wants to buy them and fix them, that's even better.
Sure.
But eventually, the land bank, when it gets fully funded, we just recently legislated its opening, and they got some money from the gambling fund right now in there. And once it gets really going, they will actually physically buy these properties if no one else does.
Yeah, well.
But you gotta remember, it goes up, if they're still paying taxes on them, it's tough to take them, because if they don't pay taxes,
And all this
it
junk.
takes 3 years then for them to,
And, I
Pardon?
mean, they have all this junk inside, and people are living in them.
oh, they are?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check two things then. I'm gonna check with code enforcement to see if they've done anything about these two. And then I'm gonna check with blighted review to see if there's anything on that, and then I'll get back and report to you.
If you're hoping for something soon, I wouldn't hold my breath.
Yeah, that's the trouble. If people are living in there, they're gonna work as hard as they can with them.
Especially that.
But if they abandon them and don't pay taxes,
Yeah.
it still takes 3 years under state law to,
Eminent domain.
yeah, before they go on sheriff's sale and,
Because on 4115 Tuttle, it's
Mm-hmm.
disgusting, just like 1316 East 41.
well, I agree with you, and you know what? Some of the blight in a minor way is starting on East 38th Street. And, you see these rentals that are starting to show wear and tear. It won't be long, a few more years, and they'll be bad, and the landlords will, they'll dump them.
So is the city going to investigate these two properties? Because
Well, I'm gonna turn them in, and I'll get back to you with what I find out.
okay,
Now
thank
that you did this, I will turn them in for you.
All right, thanks for calling.
you. Bye.
It's just a long process. It's terribly long. We've been working with the state to try to change it,
Yeah,
but good luck,
that's the truth. Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hey.
Hey, Big John.
I missed you last week. I was busy. Hey, Kaz,
Yeah,
38th and Bayfront Highway. Who owns that property on that south corner? Is that the state?
38th and Bayfront.
over there by the bowling alleys?
Down by that, up the street from the breakfast place.
Oh, yeah, right on the corner there. With the light.
State property?
You're not talking about where Vendetti owns down,
No. We're on just about the Bayfront Highway, like if you want to go up to Barron.
okay, 38th, that's a good question.
You know the wall there, the retaining wall that had the fish on it and everything?
Yeah, that's the one you're looking at?
Yeah, you can't see the fish and the grass is about 4 feet tall.
I'll check on that, but that, from a maintenance standpoint, I gotta see who takes care of that.
Has to be the state.
I just wanted to bring that to you.
So it's the wall with the fish, right?
Yeah, right down there by the railroad tracks and all that.
Where the grass is. Now, I know exactly what you're talking about, because on the other side of it is, there's some nice houses in there.
Yeah, there is, well, if you could see them, but
Huh?
if you could see them.
Yeah, that's true. You know, grass is yeah, that's kind of a mixed bag. Who's in charge of that? For a while, we've been switching off and on with the state about who cuts the grass on the side of the highway. But I think it's ours. I really do, John, and I'll check into it.
Well, I just wanted to bring that because I was going the other day there and I couldn't see the traffic coming north.
See, that might be an interesting problem because that might not be the Bayfront Highway there. It might be somebody's private
38th
property.
Street.
Yeah, I'll have to check on it, whether that's within the, what do you call it, the maintenance agreement of the road.
Well, that was just one quick thing. Did you ever get on Hoyt Street and see where that road was all buckled up?
No, I didn't, because my grandkids have been up here.
No, I told you this about 6 weeks ago.
I
or
know,
more.
It's been an extended stay.
I have had some bad problems, but
Uh,
I'll go up there this week because I'm free.
Welcome to the club. Now,
What-
I have another thing.
what's the
I
address?
was telling you about the
Hey, John, where was that in Hoyt again?
Hoyt, right up next to the car or the laundromat. You know where the barber shop is?
Right.
Up from Joanna O'Connell.
Oh, the road buckled there. Yeah, I got you.
But you remember I was telling you about the problem with the rim burning?
Yeah.
I called code enforcement today because he's got all kinds of brush stacked way above it. And do you know what code enforcement told me to do?
What?
Call the fire department. What kind of people are they hiring down there?
Yeah.
Why would I want to call the fire department? There was no fire.
No, you're supposed to call. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll turn it in.
Call code enforcement.
Yeah, I'll talk to the chief too about,
I even sent the mayor, and I got nothing. I got his emergency phone number if it was an emergency. I'm going to wait till about 3 o'clock in the morning when it's smoking like hell, and I'm going to call him up and tell him it's an emergency.
Hey, what was that address? Do you know?
I don't tell you on the air.
Text me. You got my number, right?
Well, yeah, I have your number. But I got a hold of Moss, and he was going to call code enforcement.
Well, I can go up and talk to Mars and ask him. Does he got the address?
It's 41st Street, 41st Street.
Okay, but I'll go ask him when I just was up to see him just a minute ago.
I gave him all the stuff, and I was really perturbed when she told me to call the fire department.
Yeah, you only do that after you get the fire, really.
I mean, my God, what kind of people are being hired down there that don't know how to handle an incoming complaint?
By the time calling out the fire department is a huge expense, and if we can stop it before we get to that point.
We shouldn't have to call out the fire department.
No, but I mean, once they start the fire, then they have to come out, and that's not a cheap date, okay?
I would never put anybody's life in jeopardy for a goofy call like somebody burning all the time in an open pit.
Yeah, our guys got a lot better things to do than
There's no doubt about it.
I mean, if we can solve the problem by talking to the people beforehand, and then if people still say they're burning, then cite them.
Well, the whole thing, this has been going on for over 2 years now.
Well, nobody get. John,
Like the new chief you have now was the fire inspector, and they give him a snow job that they were having a barbecue.
Yeah.
Said it was all right.
Well, it doesn't matter if you have no
It
barbecue.
runs the department.
It doesn't matter what your intentions are.
Yeah, that's right.
The law is the law, but
Yeah, you don't burn them on Wednesday and Friday, whatever, constantly.
It just, I get the feeling that, well, like this one guy called, 2 calls ago?
Yeah.
Nothing ever gets done. Nobody wants to be the bad guy, but
I got 5 nice tires, and one of these nights I'm going to go right out in the 4-way section and turn them on with a fuse. You know what a fuse is, don't you?
yeah. You know what's bad? I was camping legitimately one time, and people had these fires burning, and when they get out of control, all of a sudden, if you got this, what they call a dining tent, with a dining fly on it, you watch all your mesh just burn away.
True.
You know, you watch the ash hit it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think if that's your house and you got furniture or, God forbid,
Well, you know, you have
something hits your
people that
roof.
are having trouble breathing. They can't even open their windows.
no, and, you know, that's another thing, you know. They always tell you, well close your windows, you know.
Yeah,
One
right.
guy-
Close your windows when it's 90 degrees.
One lady in the police department one time, she didn't know who I was. And she told me, well, you know, if you don't like the noise, shut it, or you should have thought about someplace else to move.
Yeah.
How about that for a comment?
Turn your TV up higher, right?
Yeah, but you're telling a councilman,
Yeah.
you know, you should have probably moved somewhere else. Now, she didn't know who I was. So I called her back and I had them check the tapes.
Yeah.
You know, I really wasn't. I said, if you treat me like that,
Yeah, right.
what do you do to the average person? And you didn't even know it was me.
Right.
And you got an arrogant attitude like that, like, you know, maybe you should move.
All I know is, what about Geneva on the Lake here?
What about it?
That's what Erie is, Geneva on the Lake.
Yeah.
Think about it. You got your bars, your party nights and all that, up to, let's say, the middle of October, and bang, you're shut down till next spring.
You know, I was a little distressed reading those things about Roaring the Shore.
Yeah.
The reasons why they want to come back. You know,
The parking, the state police had to come in, and
yeah, the state police were a little bit more vigilant. That kind of made me wonder, like,
Yeah.
what the hell goes on down here, you know?
They want to come back. I missed that. They want to come back.
Well, they interviewed people and they go, we didn't like the one price, and I said that would happen, remember, John?
The what?
I said there'd be one price of beer,
Yeah.
and then your vendors would be under a lot of pressure to charge.
Yeah, right.
You know, you had very limited resources. If you were near, you could walk up and down a bar, could give you
Yeah.
a beer for,
competition.
yeah, competition. You had different bands playing in the bars.
Yeah.
You had a little shade, right? But the one that got me was the state police were vigilant both on I-90 and in the place.
Right.
Yeah, they said you felt safe with your helmets. So I'm going, what the hell is going on in downtown Erie that
Yeah.
maybe we were turning the other eye too much, you know?
Well, I was reading something. They said that there's a very low chance that they will come back to the city. I saw.
Wanted to know how they could improve the park. I think it was the old council person there, and I texted him that what we need is monkeys in the monkey bars down there.
Oh, you mean that? Oh, you mean that? Oh,
Yeah.
Actually, it was pretty nice down there. I rode by when they had the bands down there for Gears and Grub. I rode by, and I pulled over here.
did they use that little?
Yeah.
Well, that's why they keep it closed, because we got equipment in there.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah, and if they'd be camping out all night.
Oh, they'd be
You
posted.
just had to throw that in the monkeys and the monkey bars. You remember when they had Monkey Island out to Waldemar, don't you?
Yeah.
That
Well,
was a great thing.
I remember the tail end of it.
Yeah,
I don't remember the beer house though.
I do that.
You do?
And I was just a youngster. But the downtown, the State Street and all that, years ago when they had them old type lights, they had them almost every 50 yards, and the whole downtown State Street was always buzzing. But now with this ambient lighting and this LED lighting, I don't know, something has to be done for more candle power.
Well, they're right about one thing, but they're wrong on the other.
Right?
Yeah, the light is like, imagine when you were in the military, those of us who were in there, we used to have these ankle head flashlights.
Right?
And when you walked, they gave just enough light that you didn't kill yourself, but not enough light that anybody could see you, like from up in the air.
They have that hat, that light that fits on the top of their cap.
Yeah, and, well, we didn't have it then, but,
Well, no, you had the old Boy Scout. I call them Boy Scout flashlights.
Yeah, the old angle head. And, you know, the problem was that, you know, the light in front of you was great, but around you it was darker than heck, you know. And I think what they're missing is, yeah, it's nice to say you have ambient light, but if you're a police officer driving down the middle of the street and you can't see the sidewalk clear, and if you're a pedestrian and you're walking through periods of light and dark and light and dark, you know,
Yeah, that's.
if you go to most of your major cities, it's lit nice. So that you can, you know, everybody can see everybody.
I'll tell you where they've done it.
Well, look when Manhattan went out.
Yeah.
But, and they haven't got the answer to that. I could tell them the answer, but I don't want to.
I'll tell you who's done a nice
I've
job
been here many times.
lighting their neighborhood.
Who?
The Lower West Side has done a really nice job. That group over there, they have this special lighting. It's down by the MLK.
Yeah.
At night, I mean, it's not light. It's not really bright, but you can see everything. And
But there's different kinds of that new, you know, LED technology.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's like LED because it wasn't super bright.
You gotta go to soft mercury vapor and get rid of that LED lighting. It doesn't save that much money.
Well, you know, I just, you know, someday they're gonna find out that there was a reason why you know, why people lit things, you know.
True.
Why we got out of the lanterns on the street, you know, the lamp lighters and all that, there was a reason. But,
You know, that caller bringing up.
Great day. I'll talk to you all off air.
okay,
Thanks for calling, John.
you know, that's the thing, John, when you think about it. You got, this is a city.
Yeah.
This is not, you know, not the country.
Right. It's just this few couple talking about.
But they're getting, you know.
They're gaining traction with this. I mean, that's all it is. Then we wonder. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello?
Kaz.
Yeah,
Oh, Kaz.
yeah, we're here.
They've gonna pave Marion Street this year?
I don't have the list, but let me see if I can get a hold of it real quick. Marion from where, like, 30,
31st to 42nd, or 40 Grandview?
let me go in the, side room and get the,
It's a list.
yeah, when you get off
Is
the
it
air,
on the
I'll
website?
announce it then. They got the list out, they've been out.
Is it on the Erie?
Yeah, it should be, John's gonna look it up on the computer.
You guys talk.
But we'll try to find, it should be on the Erie website.
Really?
Good luck, right?
Thanks, guys. I was just gonna sit here and babble and just look at my phone aimlessly and hope it would show up.
Oh, you didn't know that's where it was, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh.
I'm just joking. That's the first place I'm going.
You've been waiting for quite a while on that, right, sir?
Oh, yeah. Long time.
I should keep a copy here with me. I got one in my car. I'm gonna have to get like a little carrying case to keep my important stuff in there when I do the show. Well, we're depending on John to find it,
Yeah, don't.
but, yeah, you wanna hang on or you want us to announce it?
Oh, you can just announce it.
Okay, well, listen in, John will find it.
We'll try to see what we can find. Oh, there's Joe Shepard.
Yep, we're there.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks. Yeah, we'll see if they're gonna do Marion, but, yeah, I'm a proponent, like, you know, especially down to dock lighting, you know, things like that.
You gotta have lighting.
Oh, yeah, I think,
You know, I mean, I drive down by the dock a lot,
yeah,
and that person is right. The lighting needs adjusting. It needs to be added.
some people were disappointed that they closed up early, I gotta check on that. You know,
That what?
some of the places were closing up a little early.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know, one thing people like is they like the water, you know. When I was on that boat ride with the, pirate ship, you know, people love it, they really do.
Yeah, it's packed.
I mean, they have that interaction with the rum runners where they go and shoot water cannons at each other.
Yeah.
You know, that's great, it's great for the business, right?
Yeah, it is.
You know, then they take you for a little tour, but I think it can only help you know, the things we're hoping of doing down there. I don't know, you know, I don't know whether Ferris wheel will make it, but whatever they decide on, you know, for, you know, something to bring people downtown, I think it would help.
Well, you know, you get people that just whine and cry about everything.
You know, people go, I don't think it's gonna make it. Well, you know what? How many people go up in the tower? Maybe not you, but people from out of town.
Just as long as, like, you know, we talked about the Ferris wheel on here before. I don't care if 3 people get on it, as long as people from the peninsula see that over here.
Yeah.
And it brings their money over the bay.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is let's say once you develop the waterfront, you know, let's hope Nick Scott does it, JF, and the rest of the waterfront, you know, develops in the lower area. That means you got people that have nothing to do at night. People that are sitting in the hotels, right?
Yeah.
They look out their window, their kids are gonna see that Ferris wheel or something. Hey, just, you know, and I think if, like, a couple people said to me, it'd be nice if we had like a little ice cream place to buy it down there.
They do have one down there.
They do, where,
It's right underneath the tower.
yeah, but nobody knows it, see?
Absolutely.
And that's why Brenda said she wanted, and I noticed her plan, they want to put outdoor seating there, make it a little bit more, what do you call it? Remember the old stand, the old days, when you drove by it? You could see what they had there.
Right. I think that they do need, but the only bad thing is it's parking. I mean, you have to have places to park.
Yeah, and I think, well, you got the parking ramp. Of course, I don't know what the price is there.
I don't think it's on there, but let's try something else.
Pardon? Oh. And the other one would be, you know, Nick has plans of building a ramp or two, but you know.
It's just you'd have to walk though to get to the dock.
Yeah, well, the thing what they gotta develop, and I think this is what I'm gonna talk to Brenda about, is get a couple of these little golf carts, like they have at Disney. You know, like little buses, little tram buses, what do you think?
You know, people like to walk. I mean, they don't wanna walk.
No, but I mean, I went to a ballpark in Scranton, and the ballpark parking lot was so far out, it was kinda like, remember when you go to, Chautauqua Lake, the Institute? You ever park there?
Yeah,
You know, your way out?
yeah.
Well, they had the same thing at this ballpark in Scranton. But what they did was they offered, because you paid for parking though, that was part of the deal, right?
Yeah.
You got a shuttle that took you like to a couple stops along the way, just like Disney does to you.
Right.
You know, they could do that. They could get a little bus, a little tram bus. And whether they wanna, you know, whether they wanna charge for it or, you know, offer it as a service, I think it'd be a nice idea, don't you? You could run it like in front of the hotels
Oh, definitely.
on a regular basis, you know, just keep circling.
Like, right.
And just, you know, take them, say, well, this one will stop at,
Okay,
like
great.
Smugglers, Rum Runners,
Yeah.
you know, we'll go along this, and then if Nick Scott's place opens, we'll go along there, you know.
How about the trolley, right? The trolley?
Yeah, that could work. And a lot of that's gonna be when they build the new road down there.
Something that,
You know what I'm talking about, the new road they're talking about?
yeah, the one over the,
Well, the one that they're gonna build some access roads coming down Nick Scott's property and going along the West Bay front there.
right. Well, I just Googled it. It's on the,
Can't find it?
not on the city site, but it has to be something.
We should be right in the front. It should be,
Thanks.
street pavement.
Think,
Let me go check in the side room over there.
if you want.
I'll
I
be
mean,
right-
I got a map, but I can't get the map to blow up to see if Marion Street's on
They
there.
put the list on there before.
It's on here now, but it's not even a list. Let's see what else we got here. The map is right here if you Google it on Go Erie, but they don't really, you can't. Maybe it's just because of the internet. I'm not on the internet here, but. Oh, I heard that.
We got it.
You are the the street, Marion?
Let us see. So for the gentleman that wanted to know about Marion, okay, that's west, east. Okay, Marion, they were gonna go from East Grandview from the north line of East Grandview, I guess that's what it says, and to the south line of East 41st. And what did he think he was gonna be? Let's see, he had 31 to 42. So it's not gonna do what he wanted. It shows the upper part of Marion. So let's see if there's any more. They got East 41st on here, but that's not gonna help him. So that one didn't look good. Okay.
Can I look at that when you're done?
Sure. Yeah, I don't see it helping what he wants. Yeah, they're doing Marion, but not,
Not his street.
well, 41st to Grandview, that won't, he wanted more like 32nd, he had 31st to 42nd. So they're not doing that lower part.
Yeah.
If you're listening, sir, it doesn't show Marion from 31 to 42nd, but it shows it from where, John, 41st to Grandview, I think. So that's not gonna help them.
Yeah. East Grandview to 41st, yeah.
Yeah, that means that their north line would mean, that's basically saying they're gonna start on the one end of the street.
Yeah. Go ahead, call it.
Hey, Cavs,
Yeah,
starts at 38th Street. It goes up to Grandview. It don't start on 31st Street.
oh, I thought you said 31st, I don't know if I heard you right.
Yeah, it starts at 38th Grandview. It don't go, there's no 31st in Marion.
Why did I mark that down like that?
I don't know.
So, let's see, where are they? They're going to, well, anyway, they're going from 41st. They're only going from Grandview to East 41st.
Yeah, right.
So the 3 blocks is not there.
No, they're missing from 38th to 40th.
Yeah, I don't know why, but, well, actually, the way that it says here, they're going from the north line of Grandview, and they're stopping on the south line of, where's it, 41st.
Yeah,
So that means,
38th to 41st they're not doing.
yep, yeah, 3 blocks they're not doing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I forgot it doesn't go on the other side of 38 like some of the streets do, or don't.
Hey, the other thing I would call you about, Kaz, about that Ferris wheel,
Yeah,
you were just up to Niagara Falls, Canada,
mm-hmm,
Canadian side, you know, and they got a big Ferris wheel over there. We went on it. It must be 150 foot high, I'm not sure, but that thing is constantly going, all the time. Of course, that's Niagara Falls. I mean, you got
Right.
a lot of people visiting there. But and you go up there, you can see the whole falls on top.
mm-hmm.
You could see the Lake Erie when you go up on something like that at the dock, you know.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good draw because there was a line a block long to get on that thing, constant.
Well, they got one in, you ever been to Chicago?
No.
It wasn't used as much as, now Niagara Falls, you're right, Niagara Falls is a whole different animal. That's, you know, you got tourists all the time there.
Right.
But even in Chicago, they ran it, periodically, and theirs is right on the Navy Pier, if you ever been there. And you get a nice view of the skyline of Chicago, and, so I mean, you know, I don't think it's outlandish,
I don't either.
I think if we can pull it off, I mean, you know, it's not always Erie people that are gonna use it, you know, like John said, you know, you're on the peninsula, or you're sitting in one of those hotels and you're looking out.
I mean, that's just, I mean, that, if we get a lot of people on it, that's great. But if we only get some people that come over, but they spend money at the restaurants, or they stay at the hotels down there,
And you know, you might even see it from like up in state when you're coming down
yeah, for sure.
at night with the lights, you know, because
Yeah.
you can see the towers sometimes.
Right.
We tried to get on it. We were up there for 3 days.
What do
We
they charge
tried
on that thing, do you know?
days, and we couldn't get near it. So we went on like 10 o'clock in the morning. And we
Yeah.
waited about a half hour. But at night, we walked down there. It was just like a block of people waiting to get on that thing. It was packed every night, all the time.
I mean, imagine if they start getting people to like open up little food trucks or little ice cream stands and stuff like that. You know, things for people
Anything
to do.
but booze, you know.
Well, I mean, there's enough places down there.
Yeah,
that, you know.
enough of that. But family-oriented stuff.
I was in Duluth. You ever been in Duluth?
No.
Duluth was a interesting. They had enough adult entertainment, but enough restaurants that
Yeah,
you could, as a family, you could go if you wanted a beer. You could go on one of these nice, you know.
yeah.
And they had like everything had its own purpose, but you didn't see a lot of you know problems. But you had enough alcohol establishments, enough food establishments. Then you had a couple like little stores selling things,
Some nicknames.
and even they had a hotel down there in one of the grain elevators.
Yeah,
They had a couple ships they bought that you could tour them, you know, a couple grain ships and
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh.
So it was really nice.
I mean, we just gotta do something with, that's like, figure what, 50 parking spots? 60 parking spots if you take the dock off of there, cause they're on both sides.
Yeah,
coming
well, they're
up.
gonna have to come up with a plan.
For sure.
And there was a plan with McAllister's that they were gonna put a ramp in there. And then build around it with businesses,
I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
with businesses around it.
Right,
So you wouldn't see the ramp, and then Scott's gonna have, and that's where we talked about maybe a little shuttle.
yeah. A ramp, that would definitely be a good idea there.
Well, you're gonna have to have something like that.
Like a mixed use type, you know, ramp on top, or somehow a mixed use thing there.
Well, look at like, John Melody and his partner, they wanna put that oyster bar in the one ramp.
Yeah, they've been having trouble with that. 5 minutes. Mike's got
Ooh,
nice hair.
wow, what the
Mike-
heck? You
Mike's-
still there, sir? Up, you must have hung up, right?
Mike's looking good. He's got that hair.
But, you know, all that stuff at the dock,
Yeah.
that could happen in a small way and then see what happens, you know?
Well, you have to start somewhere. You have, you know,
But I've been to a lot of dock areas where, you know, you can, you know, right now, if you go down there, I don't think, like the Cove is that wild.
no,
Okay.
the Cove is, well,
Rum Runners is not that wild.
none of those places are that wild.
No, I mean, you know, there's people having fun,
They have bands.
and they have, like, what I mean, they're drinking, having a good
and they're
time
having a
eating.
good, nobody, you know, fights. I
The
go down there a
hotels
lot.
got their little bars along there.
I go down there a lot in the summertime.
Is there a lot of trouble?
No. No
Ooh,
trouble.
hear it rain?
Was that thunder?
I think so. But you know, the nice thing is now, if you have people that are walking down there,
Yeah,
and the Port Authority does what they do with their tower and all that, and
yeah,
Nick wants to do things with his property, and,
Yeah.
you know, there's no reason why it can't be nice.
should be nice.
I mean, we've been talking about, I remember we talked about for years, they had that boat. You remember the boat they were gonna turn, I still have it somewhere at home.
Restaurant?
Yeah, and they had a plan for council,
Yeah,
and
I do remember that,
there was a barge, remember?
yeah.
And these guys were gonna, it was their own dime, you know, they didn't know what to do with it,
Yeah,
and they were gonna turn it into a dinner place.
right.
And I remember some of the councilmen go, well, that's
Called
never,
Lansdowne or something? Was it Lansdowne?
yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
And they looked at it and they go, well, it's never gonna make it, look at the prices. And I go, quit thinking of it in your terms.
Yeah, right.
You know, when people come down to the dock with money,
Yeah,
they love eating on, you know, they'll take if you've ever been on a cruise with the Princess,
yeah.
you know, some people think it's a little pricey, but for some people, it's a nice night out.
You know,
You know.
if we'd have had the casino down on Hammermill site, you'd have riverboat gambling going on.
Oh, well, they planned on, they were gonna build a monorail, everything.
Yeah, from the dock to the casino. Riverboat gambling, monorail, I mean,
Yeah, it's all, you know what, that was The stuff they had planned there was, they had an arena planned for big shows.
We're at the casino.
Yeah. One of the plans they had was, building a small arena that they could bring in, Name Entertainment. You know, you look at our Name Entertainment, and I don't mean to degrade them,
Yeah.
but it's not even half as good as the one at Salamanca.
Yeah, Salamanca.
And Salamanca is nowhere near what they bring in at Bethlehem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of those bigger casinos,
Yeah.
I mean, they're bringing in, you know, people with big names.
Yeah.
Now, Salamanca does a good job. They bring, if you look at some of the entertainment they're bringing in,
Yeah.
I'm not against local people, but every once in a while, it's nice to bring in
Right.
somebody that's, you know, got a name a little bit.
Yeah.
They used to, maybe.
Right. I just,
And I look at the horse track, what do they get, 600 people a night,
they
400,
only get like 6 horses a race a lot of times.
200 people, and I'm going, you know.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing?
I was at one in Minnesota I mean, that's Minneapolis,
I
but,
think you can bet on sports pretty soon up there.
well, some guy said you already can.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, he said he went to a kiosk. I thought I read in the paper, you put your $5 in there, and
Oh, yeah.
he said he was done the first game already. It's 14 parlay, but
Those, you can't hit those. You're
But
lucky
peop-
to hit one game.
but people, I used to do pretty good on them.
14 parlays are hard to hit.
Well, I'm not saying I won every week,
Yeah.
but I used to do pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But, you know, just the fact you can do that is good, you know,
Oh, yeah.
if you like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, Erie, I think we do have, you know, the Erie Innovation District's doing their thing. DeLucas sold their building down there, which we didn't even get a chance to touch on that today.
No, and there's so much going on.
Ah.
You know, that's the thing, there's so much going on. If you ride around town right now,
Yeah,
you know, you're looking at the bus station taking shape.
yeah,
They're working on the last part now, the parking ramp part.
yeah,
You know, when they get that open, they're gonna be looking at how to put a grocery store or something in there.
somewhere. Maybe where DeLucas is in that area.
Well, I mean, the bus station's thinking about doing that.
It'll never work up there.
Well, I don't know, they got, first of all, they got a retail space in there. That's what they, you know, put in there.
It's already in there?
Well, that's in the plans, that's why. What they don't know is whether it's gonna be farmed out as individual stalls or one outfit, you know.
There's nowhere to park up there.
Oh, yeah, well, here's the thing, they're building a parking ramp around it.
At the bus station?
Have you seen the new plans? Drive up French Street,
I'm gonna,
okay, drive up French,
yeah,
and when you get to about where the entrance used to be, the old garage,
yeah.
okay, look to the east.
I know, I've been
Yeah,
driving there 1,000
it's going up
times.
right now. The parking ramp is going up right before your eyes.
Oh, okay.
So what they're doing is, the ramp is gonna be, the way I understand it, part of it will be for the bus company,
The ramp,
for their employees,
yeah.
but the other part's gonna be open to the public. And I think the parking authority may run it, I'm not sure. But the whole thing is that people that wanna go to juniors, now that brings its own problem up by making sure it's safe.
Yeah,
But that's gonna offer parking for events like, well, obviously, they can run a shuttle now. Like, say you got Acre Eight Tuesdays, right?
yeah,
You could actually park there as overflow, and they could take a shuttle bus down to the park, right?
yeah. Wow, yeah,
So, yeah, what they do is the parking, the bottom level of that parking ramp, part of it, is gonna be a retail outlet.
okay.
Plus, they're gonna have offices for,
I know they were talking about
plus,
it.
you can also be where you go and get the bus, you can go in there and do business and catch buses.
Okay,
It's gonna be like a hub, but part of it will be a retail hub, and then the parking ramp will be split use.
kinda like what we have at the dock, or down at, right on our Bayfront property.
I seen one like that in Roanoke, where the public could park, or, you know, you're right in the bus terminal.
That's too bad we couldn't close the one down on the Bayfront, actually use that property for something good.
What's that, you mean
The bus terminal. I think that's the biggest waste of taxpayer money on it.
well, actually, though, Greyhound uses it.
Why don't they move it up here with them?
Well, I think, years ago, they used to go to remember they went down on North Park Road,
Yeah,
and then they moved out to Peach Street,
yeah,
but the only thing that talked them into coming downtown again
yeah.
was the fact they can catch that Bayfront Road
I mean,
and be in and out with no problems.
what economic advantage do we have of having them post it up on waterfront property. I can't think.
Well, being that you built that thing for intermodal,
Yeah, but.
I mean, you did that, when you did that, John, you killed it, okay? So,
Yeah, you did.
so I mean, the big argument then was, if you could bring Greyhound down there, that was a bum deal, right?
Yeah,
The whole thing was having the bus company and Greyhound both, or any other company, let's say, you don't have them anymore, if you had Bluebird,
yeah.
or you had, you know, like, what do you got that America thing, or,
Everybody Ubers now, but, you know, people that ride.
people still take the bus though.
Yeah, but they're not, they don't have the finances to help, like we've talked about, it's the poor way of transportation. It's not, I mean, but it's not even about that, it's about where it's located. So, I mean, that whole parking lot area down there,
Yeah.
and the intermodal is right on waterfront property. I mean, there could be, heaven forbid, not more hotel. I wish they would put the stadium.
Well,
there.
people are against the library going there too.
Well, that's, well, what's good about that there is that you have the flagship Niagara tied in with that.
Yeah, but that wasn't the original plan.
Oh, see, well, that's,
You know, the original plan was to keep the library in the Boston store or someplace else,
But
when they had empty buildings.
I can understand why people may not want to, because it's taxes.
Well, you know why they didn't want to put the arena stadium down there?
No,
Oh, you'll laugh. It's only in Erie.
what?
Seagulls would have a field day down there.
See,
You know, every other town I've been in, San Diego, San Francisco,
Yeah.
Cleveland,
Chicago,
Pittsburgh,
right on the river.
Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like when we built the tower,
Yeah.
we couldn't put glass in there because the
They
birds would
fly
kill
into
themselves.
it, yeah.
But I was in Chicago, and maybe you noticed, John, they have a couple of tall buildings,
Yeah,
really tall buildings.
I've been there,
Yeah, hey, I didn't see any birds laying around the,
no,
they must either be smarter,
their vision's getting better. One of the two.
we gotta bring the Chicago birds here, right?
Exactly, we need Illinois birds, not Pennsylvania birds. All right, Kaz, we're way over.
Yeah, but that's okay, we did our part.
Actually, that first caller today was really good.
Yes, and, you know, maybe he'll come on someday and,
Yeah, people don't really, they get nervous coming on here. I get nervous coming on. It's like, well, I don't get nervous anymore.
you're like an old pro now, John.
Yeah, it's like, what are we gonna talk about? I walked up here, I'm like, I don't even know anything about what's going on. I've actually been busy this week trying to get some golf in, and, the weather was nice.
If they need to run water pipe, they can call me and I'll go.
Yeah, right.
I'll lay a ditch like you can't see.
Yeah, you sound like somebody else like golf, but here's your list,
I gotta give that back,
and,
and I guess that's it, right?
that's it. Mike, let's hit the twos.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.